Thank you. I've really enjoyed this meeting, so this is thanks not just to the organizers, but also to the participants. I've really learned a lot from the participants and the speakers, and I've been inspired, and hopefully this will show. And I also want to thank all of these, this community of this ecosystem that's helping us bring technology into the communities and into the real world. And I want to tie together a bunch of themes that I've heard throughout the meeting about education and about community and so forth, and ask what it is that inspires us to participate in the community, and what kind of risks should we be taking. And of course, this is the sort of thing that inspired my generation of scientists and engineers, was Apollo 11. And we've heard from Tony about how they're getting volunteers all over the world to help them mine data from galaxies. John Rogers told us about getting people, communities, and families involved in do-it-yourself cars. It sounds pretty complicated. And Luis mentioned about how we can interpret ancient texts, and all of these things are quite amazing. But what topic are we really all the best experts of the world on? We're pretty good at those three things, but what would be the best thing? What do we know the most about, more than any scientist? And it's ourselves. So what can we do about that? How can we harness that? And I've been a little obsessed about bringing down the cost, because I think that's part of the deal. For about the last 32 years, I've obsessed on this. And we brought the price down a little bit from about $3 billion for which would have bought a pretty big, tallest building in the world in Dubai. We bought one kind of pathetic genome, generic human genome. And then the price has come down to where it's in the couple $1,000s this year. And I have the last point being pennies, and you'll see what I mean by that in just a second here. We're shrinking your genome. This is the 6 billion base pairs, 3 billion you got from your mother, and 3 from your father, 3 billion from your father. All of the genes, about 20-some thousand. Now, what does $0 to the consumer mean? We have these examples. I'm sure you've used some of these things. Maybe somebody here has used the World Wide Web by now, or Wikipedia, very trustworthy source. Street View, this is actually where we are, not real time, and so forth. These are crowdsourcing and so forth, and I think that's something we'd like to harness. So when we create a community, if you just have your giant cell phone, like Mike Douglas here, and you don't share it, and there's nobody else to share it with, then it's not too useful. Same thing for a fax or for early PCs. So if we all have our genomes, because the prices come down, then we need more than that. We need to do some sharing. This is an open question. I don't pretend that I'm going to answer it tonight. But we stand at a point where we don't know what the social standards are going to be. Are we going to treat genomes like faces, or are we going to treat them like something pathologically scary? Our faces are actually something that might be worth hiding, in the sense that they reveal a great deal about you. Your ancestry, which can be held against you, your emotions, your health, the state of your health at that moment. But the tendency is that we share it, and we're sort of expected to share our faces. We don't cover them up. Openness has changed since I was young, since many of us were young. We didn't talk about our salaries, but now it's required by law for many of us. Sexuality was mostly was not something you talked about in polite society. Even cancer was something that if somebody in the family had it, you hid from it. Facebook, this is a Facebook generation, but it's affecting people are putting their faces on it, attaching it to incredible faces and names, attaching to incredible things, like patientslikeme.com, which my good friend Jamie Haywood and his family put together. People who have HIV/AIDS or neurodegenerative diseases or serious psychiatric problems, for the good of their community and other people in the world who have these similar diseases, they're putting all the information that they have available, including their identity. So this is not for everybody, but I see a trend here. I think the legislative